Here.
Excuse me? What is your name, son?
Gerald.
Well, Gerald, I think you're afraid.
But film had always been a sort of passion from when I was about particularly 15 or 16, and I had a television in my room. I could record stuff, bought lots of VHS tapes, watched sort of all sorts of odd films and interesting historical ones, and well, I studied it at master's level here, at Northumbria in 2004. I'd done an English degree at Cambridge, and generally enjoyed it. Found it very tough, hard workload. And I went to the cinema like pretty constantly during my degree, and I was involved in filmmaking society and like the film society at Trinity Hall, my college, where we put on a different film every week. So I did get heavily sort of into it in the societies, but I'd never studied it, so I was fascinated to study it. So teaching was sort of in the family. I mean, they were the first generation to be teachers, and they'd had like quite a working class background before that. So it was sort of there, the amount of books in the house, lots of encouragement to read and stuff, and just be interested in the world. All of that pushed me towards it as an option. And I mean, when I was doing the masters, I got a part-time job working in the cinema in the Gate, what was then the Odeon. Donnie Darko was 2 times. I was just really taken by its strangeness. It is a coming-of-age tale, but infused with sort of horror. Scenes like the sort of confrontation where Donnie stands up to the Patrick Swayze guy, who's sort of a sanctimonious preacher type character, and he calls him for what he is. It's that sort of blunt outlook appealed to me at that time, I think, as well. He sees the world in very black and white terms, Donnie, and he is sort of right on that particular issue, but he's quite a troubling character in lots of other ways in terms of what he does in the film, of course, Donnie. So this was through like the Film Society, filmmaking society at Cambridge, where there was an email list and you got notified if there was a project, and I was like really like wanting to be involved in various ways, and often like the acting roles were ones that were really available as well, and I didn't have any like sound skills of operating a boom mic or anything like that, so it was like acting.
Bob Ashford was a good friend of mine, more than 5 years, a few months before he retired.
And it just happened with the first one, which was Ghosts of the Past, that Simon Knight directed, and he did it all in one student room. I can't remember the specific college, but it was all done in one room with, I think, like 16mm film. So the lighting was really, really crucial with that. The other film was Selling Heaven, so this is a horror film, like supernatural horror, that Thomas Peters wrote the script for, and it was billed as like a 3 Toms production, because Tom Bishop was the camera man on it, and obviously I was involved in one of the main roles, playing this mysterious character called Michael. It's implied, he might be an angel of some sort. So it's very sort of supernatural and non-realist. I think you need to be a bit of a hybrid and a chameleon. You need to be able to shapeshift at different times and different parts of the module, different parts of the year, really. But I mean, initially I wanted to be like ultra laid back, sort of liberal laid back teacher type person, but you do have to have the control and the dominance over the class. You have to be able to do that to have the credibility to stand in that room and be worth listening to. I like to try and fuse the two, because there was certainly like people who I saw was really good laid back teachers at college and university who I maybe did aspire to be to an extent. There was a guy called Robin Stewart who taught English literature at Sunderland College, who I really enjoyed his sort of dry sense of humour. There was John Lennard at Cambridge, who did these brilliant lectures on sort of modern drama, modern theatre, which really inspired me. And he was quite a mixture of informal and just a real expert on the subject as well. And Pete Hutchings, I was a great teacher here at Northumbria, a real sort of horror expert, but great on the whole history of cinema as well. Lennard and Hutchings were enthusing me just with their knowledge as well, really, and I wanted to be the same as that, like to know detailed stuff and be able to pass that on in an engaging way.